Hi everyone, welcome to Photomode Unplugged. We are your hosts, Ruben and Mick. And you were asking before we started recording, how many games do I know that had a photo mode added to them after release?
I did ask that. Yeah, how many games do you know that have had a photo mode added after release?
And my answer was Death Stranding, No Man's Sky, and God of War. I have no idea. It just came up on my mind. Then Control, Sonic Frontiers recently, God of War Ragnarok, Jedi Fallen Order. They actually released. So I bought the game day one, took a picture for socials off the box. Didn't play it until they added the photo mode.
For Fallen Order?
That's why I know.
Right, I see. Because I remember it getting an update because I remember the roll angle being, was it like 40 degrees or 45 degrees?
45.
And then they updated that. But obviously I never played it early enough to know that it didn't have one. There's certain games that you just don't realise. I think you once said the same about Death Stranding, that you forget that it didn't originally have it.
Yeah. Because we back then, everyone was taking photos of Death Stranding, at least landscapes, without the photo mode.
Yeah.
So we were just like, whatever. Another one is Final Fantasy VII Remake, but let's not talk about that. Because I even, yesterday during my stream, someone was telling me how to photograph on PC, like with camera, and it's a nightmare. it's so even with all the mods, it's still a nightmare to photograph.
Yeah, that's technically. Would you class that as an update, a photo mode in an update? Because that's an integrate, which is actually a separate release, isn't it? That's like a next gen.
It's kind of like
yeah,
because it's not available on
Trivial.
on PS4, I think.
No.
So it might be, we can count as it wasn't added at the vanilla version of the game, but it was added because Square has a tendency to do that. They did that with Kingdom Hearts 3. There is like not a photo mode, but like a photo booth, and you can like put your characters like dioramas, and even that was added as a DLC extra. You had to buy the DLC episode in order to, and you have to finish the extra if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, or at least do a side quest or something.
I mean, another one, when you said the booths, is Fortnite. Like, that has transformed completely the game that it is, really, from the original. In fact, I think Fortnite's original game wasn't meant to be the Battle Royale, was it? It was meant to be a wave defense thing with the building. But that's totally changed. Returnal is one, actually, that I'd thought of.
Ooh.
Quite a big one. Yeah, and that's quite a sort of a high profile in terms of, the first party, newly acquired first party Sony game. But I guess...
I keep forgetting it has a photo mode. Because I played it without the photo mode. And I played it a lot. Like, I even got close to the platinum. And I never tried the photo mode.
I want to go back. Seeing it coming on PC keeps making me want to go, I'm in Act 2, which means it's now harder. And because I'm out of practice, you think, I've got no chance.
I'm the same.
I think Dying Light 2 is another one, actually.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I didn't realize, because all the shots that I saw of Dying Light that I remember are from PC, so I thought it was...
Yes, you can't tell.
Yeah.
But there's been quite
That's
a few.
another one. Ooh. Surprising, isn't it? Because, like, Control. I can't think of Control without the photo mode, but it was added. That's another one that I got the game day one with a steelbook and didn't play it until the photo mode was added.
Oh well. So I mean, No Man's Sky's up there, and I remember No Man's Sky being something I was just like super looking forward to, and I got it. And I was like, yeah, it's not quite what I imagined, but at the time I just played it to death and got the platinum then, and did just the minimal HUD. You couldn't turn everything off. You always had the little compass thing at the top, so you just did a few sort of captures like that because there was no character then anyway. It's another game that's changed so much. The visible character, the playable character, like the third person view, is new. But yeah, when they added the photo mode, I still didn't use it because it's so poorly accessed. Like, it's in this horrible menu.
Shinobi told me that.
Have you never tried it? Oh my god!
The fact that it has no shortcut. Most games
it's
don't
worse
have
than no
it,
shortcut,
and I don't like it. Yeah, you have to go into 3 menus, I think.
Yeah, but that doesn't freeze the game. So imagine trying to get a dogfight shot when you're flying in the ship, and you've got to like press up to bring up the little mini computer, then press across a couple of times, then press up, then press X. No, that doesn't work. That's the worst access I've ever come across.
That's even more impressive considering the shots that I've seen of No Man's Sky.
Yeah, I think you start to
the shots are really
preempt it. But no, it's horrible.
Do you replay games just for the photo mode? If a game comes out that God of War Ragnarok is a great game that we both finish before the game release. Did you ever finish it or played it with the photo mode?
That's a bad example because no, I haven't. I've been back to it for obviously review captures and for the PlayStation blog article captures, but I've not been and done another playthrough. However, I did with God of War 2018 because remember that also it was like 2 weeks later. So I can't remember if I just finished it and was on near the beginning or if I was close to finishing, but I sort of restarted that for the photo mode then. So that's kind of playing it at the time though. Would I go back to an old game, I guess is more the question. Because that's a
like
key.
Death Stranding.
Yeah. I mean, Death Stranding I did. I had stopped playing Death Stranding, but I think there was word that the photo mode was coming, so I kind of thought, I'll wait now. So I hadn't finished Death Stranding, so I stepped away from it, did other things, and then went back to it. So I guess what you're getting at is like the strategy of adding a photo mode. Does it make you go back? It depends on the game, I think. But you,
like if I finished Sonic, I wouldn't pick up Sonic again just to take photos of it. Like it really depends on. Like I can imagine someone going through Control for the first time and thinking, "Oh, this looks so photogenic." Doesn't have a photo mode, ignore it. And then they add the photo mode. You don't have a new game plus. You don't have all the locations unlocked. Like all the locations, the encounters. Like if there's a great boss fight where you fight a mirror version of yourself. It gives some really cool shots, but you can't take it. So you have to play the game all over again to unlock that. I can't see myself going back to any game.
I don't know. Like I said, if it's at the time when I'm still playing, so Hellblade had a photo mode from the start, but I deliberately didn't use it for the first playthrough. So that was one that I wanted to just play uninterrupted. And then I went straight back through and started shooting it. But just because you're still in the mode, had to Hellblade not had a photo mode, and then let's say a few months later it got one, would I have gone back then? Maybe for that, because it's quite unique, isn't it?
It's a short game.
Yeah, it's short enough to easily justify it.
Yeah.
Sonic's the newest one that's just got a photo mode.
Yeah.
We saw Hi-Fi Rush as another one actually we didn't mention, but that was on the show a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Hi-Fi Rush I think is a perfect one for it because it's that kind of fast-paced content, really vibrant gameplay, and it invites you to kind of come back and engage with it more in new ways. I think they'll keep adding more stuff to that. Sonic, all right, Sonic's fast gameplay. I've never liked Sonic, to be honest. It's just not my thing.
Neither did I. I only I played the first with my sisters when I was very young.
Yeah.
But I never enjoyed Sonic once it jumped into 3D.
I didn't even like it before that.
I
don't like the there's too much reliance on. Well, I guess you have to learn the level and sort of know what's coming and everything, but
the
to
layouts,
just play it, I don't enjoy. I feel like I'm missing loads of stuff. And oh look, there's some spikes that I couldn't see coming in, and go all the rings. I just don't like Sonic.
I like that. I like the speed makes the level easier, but also in a way more difficult. Like you can control but I enjoy the movies.
Oh god,
they are they are fun. I think. Did you ever watch one?
I've seen the trailers and thought, no.
It's they are nice popcorn movies. You can just. I as soon as I saw that the second one was on the plane for San Francisco, I immediately put it. I haven't watched the second one. It was the movie that I watched on my flight.
Surely will be going and shooting Sonic Frontiers.
That's curious because no. But the Sonic fan base is massive. I'm talking about people that live and breathe for Sonic, and I'm not even joking. There are thousands of creators of Sonic content creators out there, whole Reddits made around Sonic. So I can see someone taking pictures of Sonic and bringing that fandom over to them and getting super popular. I can see that happening.
You think someone's going to dedicate a virtual photography account to Sonic? I don't think that'll happen. Some of those fans may well start doing it. That was something I mentioned in the blog post. Was this kind of game could attract new people to virtual photography. I don't necessarily see the draw the other way.
If I know someone, and I have someone in my life that is a really big Sonic fan that buys the game, not digitally, I might ask them to let me take a few pictures. Yeah, just to see if the content gets as popular as I think it might get.
Interesting.
But it supposedly it's a horrible Sonic game, so I don't know.
Well, that won't matter because it's just art from Sonic.
Yeah. And that's so popular.
I've just thought it was a surprising. If you were to give me a list of games, and I pick out what is probably going to have a photo from the start and might get one later, I would never pick Sonic to have.
They announced it, I think, a couple of weeks after the game release that they would add a photo mode. People were asking for a photo mode before release. Once the so I'm super I put out one of those give me your photos posts that I do on Saturdays, and someone back then posted a couple of simple screen grabs of gameplay or without the HUD or whatever, and they said that they couldn't wait for a photo mode on that game.
That's good.
It's an open world game. If you like open worlds and if you like Sonic, it's like a match made in heaven. So,
but I mean, doesn't one of the Mario games on Switch have some sort of camera mode? And the fan base for that is just as big. Popular. I never see any content from it.
Really, it's I've seen some really cool that and Super Smash. That those two games made me buy Super Smash for the photo mode. I failed spectacularly on social media once I posted. Some of my photos were getting 2 likes.
Good.
So yeah, it was crazy. But there is a fan, but you just have to. We are not part of that crowd. We are like most photo modes. Most virtual photographers are graphics first. So I think that's one of the reasons why Hi-Fi Rush hasn't picked up in popularity with the virtual photography crowd, because even the game account interacts a lot with people posting photos, but people just don't care about like cell shaded, or most people don't care about cell shaded graphics or animated graphics. They care about photorealism on their photos.
That is true. Fidelity sort of is what gets the attention. It's very short-sighted for people to only do that.
It is.
Now, there's 2 points that I've sort of thought of why you were saying that. One, it's very good because we're seeing more games get a photo mode and more types of games get a photo mode, and they're 2 good examples. And for developers to start adding it in afterwards as well is encouraging, because that sort of suggests that they think that there's a potential there for them to build an engaging community, and it's not about the numbers of likes and things that they're going to get on it. It's about engagement with their fans, and that they're seeing photo modes are really good. Look at how it works for Horizon with, for most of the Sony studios, to be honest. I was going to say Guerrilla, but like any of them. And if we can get that kind of fan engagement, and it perpetuates interest, it generates more content that is visible. So that's the good thing, that they're sort of seeing the potential for that. It's not that they're seeing the potential to get 1,000 likes on a picture of their game. That means nothing to them. It doesn't achieve anything for them whatsoever. They want the generation of content. Do you know what I mean? The flip side of it is, why are people not doing that? And that is because they're chasing the interactions and the numbers. I mean, it's understandable because you feel like you're kind of wasting your effort if it's not even just if no one's interacting with it, if no one's seeing it. That's the trouble. It's the impressions, and especially now that they're visible straight away. If you see such low impressions, you go, no one's even getting the chance to say whether they like this or not. But by avoiding that, let's say the developers, so Tango Gameworks, who've made Hi-Fi Rush, let's say that they want to do a campaign. They want to do a marketing campaign, and they want to go and look for someone who's actually been engaging with this content and producing things for them. They go, they're perfect, let's get them on board.
Yeah.
If everyone's avoiding doing that, that limits the possibilities for that to happen. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I know. Yeah. A great example of someone that didn't see that much engagement and then improved on their photo mode is Capcom with Resident Evil 8 and Devil May Cry. The PC crowd took a lot of shots, but the console crowd didn't. Their photo modes with both Resident Evil and Devil May Cry were horrible.
Yeah.
They did a significant improvement with the Resident Evil 4 remake photo mode. You can move the camera. That's like, what?
Yeah.
You can move the camera? That's completely...
It sounds ridiculous, but you couldn't before, so...
They took out the watermark, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, right.
Which is...
She didn't know about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because still the vast majority of the Japanese publishers...
Yeah. I might be mistaken, but I saw someone saying they either got rid of it or made it really, really smaller. So, but I think they got rid of it. Should probably search before the do my research before the episode. But yeah, that's it. They might not see the engagement right away, but they know there is something there that they can use to bring more a different crowd. People were asking. I never I think I never mentioned Resident Evil on my Twitter, and someone asked me to do shots of the. I said no because I don't like Resident Evil.
Okay.
I'm too scared of Resident Evil to play Resident Evil. I don't play horror games.
That's fine. What about Dead Space?
That and Callisto Protocol is. I don't think I will ever play it.
Yeah.
It's not. I don't play horror, survival, gory games. Like the only exception is probably The Last of Us, and The Last of Us is like as close to horror as I will get.
Consider that horror at all. There's no sort of jump scares or real scary
I don't
tension.
know. The clickers are like nerve-wracking, especially on the. I think though in the first game, the one that you have to power up the machine. And there are like in the sewers, and there are a lot of them. And if you make noise, they will.
Yeah.
I hate that part.
That's not a fun section. Yeah. Once you learn an approach for that, though, you just kind of lead them round and you set a couple of bombs. But I know what you mean. But yeah, back to what we were saying before. Do you think then there's a benefit? So this is like, it's a good thing that studios are seeing the reason to add a photo mode. Do you think there's any benefit or a detriment to adding it later, as in adding it post-launch?
I think it's only a detriment. They would benefit. So, the spike in number of players concurrently playing is probably the launch. There is some exceptions, like the sales for The Last of Us Part 1 spiked to 100% after the show premiere and stuff like that. Yeah. But those are exceptions. But for most games, most people will play it when the game launched and talk on social media when the game launched, or a demo or something. That's when you have to hit. You have to hit while the iron is out. If you let it cool off, it might work, but the impact will not be as great as that launch window. You can see it for God of War Ragnarok. Like, you don't see as many pictures as...
But you probably would see more had that been a photo mode with more cutting-edge options and freedom, really. I think I agree mostly, but I can see the other side of it as well. In that, right, let's say if you take the photo mode out of it, then that game is going to have its spike of interest at launch anyway, and then that's just going to tail off, and you need another event or something to bring it back up, don't you? To rekindle any interest.
I don't think the Virtua Fighter community is that big to rekindle that much.
No, I'm not saying it's going to suddenly start driving sales, but if you were to just take the visibility of the game on social media and that sort of free marketing, as we kind of assume it is, at launch, the game doesn't need that free marketing because everybody already knows about it. But later on, say a month later, there's possibly a bit more benefit, a bit more weight to the marketing by having the content start coming out.
Let's pretend for a second that Spider-Man on the PS4 didn't came with a photo mode.
Yeah.
I platinumed that game in a weekend. If that game came out without a photo mode, the world will lose probably his best virtual photographer. I'm just saying, I would never pick up a photo mode. I'm trying to say this with a straight face.
Yeah. So, but you
know what I mean.
Sound like you're laughing for the audio.
You know what I mean. Like, yeah. I would never pick up a photo mode. I would never. So that launch window is very important, and certainly like Ghost of Tsushima is a great example. The one that I can think that more people were talking about and sharing pictures on launch because of that. Like, some players won't go into social media. I'm still because some people will think I'm not joking.
I didn't think you were joking. I didn't think you were joking.
What? I was.
No, I know.
It was a joke. But like some Ghost of Tsushima is a great game. So people were talking about it online about many things, but maybe that photo mode with that aesthetic together will bring people that wouldn't go on social media to talk about the game, and they will share pictures. Look, I took this nice pictures of this game that just launched, and that will generate more than like people coming back to a game. It's weird, but I don't think it's a good strategy. I can't see most Sonic players going back to Sonic Frontiers, like for the photo mode and going to take post photos. But if the photo mode was there on launch, maybe. Like Forspoken, no one is talking about Forspoken. But the photo mode helped a lot.
So the photo mode's got some people sharing it, but only really the people who liked the game. So that was the reason no one's talking about Forspoken. I think, to be honest, the demo was to its detriment.
Yeah.
A lot of people tried the demo and went, I'm not really a fan of this. And then it's one of those that suffers from a couple of rumblings of bad reviews and things, and then everyone makes up their mind and that's it. Days Gone was a bit of a special case, really, because that struggled review-wise. You know, the actual critical reception was peculiar. I wondered if they showed too much of that game on the way up to release, and it started to get a little bit...
Not only that, but it was filled with bugs. Like I
didn't think it was that bad.
I got one that on a mission I was riding through the mission, and I just fell off the world.
Yeah, but Bethesda releases games like that as routine.
Oh yeah,
you know, and people still buy Fallout.
Yeah, but
that had such an advanced photo mode, and actually you still see shots from it now. So that one persisted, like despite the lack of popularity, really.
And I think the photo mode helped. I think the photo mode being there from day one helped that they got people. Colin is a great example. Had the photo mode not being there on release, would we have Colin?
Well, he would have carried on with his Assassin's Creed profile instead, wouldn't he?
Yeah. See,
I guess
it's like the world will have no Colin.
Yeah. Well,
could you live in a world without Colin?
I work for Colin, believe it or not. Different Colin. So I'm grateful that I know some Collins. Definitely.
That explains the mix-up.
I think it does, yeah. I think that the argument, it's not an argument, but the case that we're building is probably moot anyway, because the reason for a photo mode being at launch or not is unlikely to be a tactical one. I don't really believe... I know you think God of War Ragnarok was held back deliberately so that it was to avoid spoilers and let people play the story first. I think it's entirely based on where it fits in the development cycle. And it's an accessory. It's an unnecessary additional.
Yeah.
So it has to come after all the critical... gameplay and functionality has to come first. Performance is coming above photo mode, unfortunately, because that's what the games are judged on. So
I agree with in most cases. I agree with you. On God of War Ragnarok, it's the same engine. It's the same photo mode, made even worse.
they changed a couple of little things. They added facial expressions for other people, other characters, but we know that the team also did the accessibility features. So there was a big focus on the accessibility upgrades, and I think it's just a time scheduling thing. The fact that it wasn't there to start with, maybe there was some changes were required, and it wasn't literally that couldn't work. There must have been something wrong with it, with the old one ported across, for it to have not met the quality to just go out with it. I don't know, but it was a while as well. It was like a month. I don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's not a tactical one, but if it is, and we go by your philosophy that a delay is a bad thing, does that also mean that there's very little value in updating a photo mode with new features?
I think there is.
It.
I think it, like, when it's something as simple as making a camera go 90 degrees instead of 45.
Yeah.
When it's something that simple, I think it's easy to implement. When it's a great example is Ghostwire Tokyo.
Yeah.
So that game didn't came with a photo mode. It got a photo mode. People started taking pictures of it. They even ran a contest. Then they upgraded that photo mode. I don't see. Do you see Ghostwire Tokyo photos?
That's a pretty compelling example, actually, because I did see more pictures of it when the game was new than I did when they added a significantly better photo mode. Because the photo mode now is quite good. You know, you've got animations for the characters and the enemies separately, I think, and you can reposition them all. It's pretty good. Yeah, that's a pretty compelling example of it not rejuvenating interest.
Deadloop. We talked about Deadloop when we were saying our picks for the VP Awards.
Mm-hmm. No,
you don't see that many Deadloop photos.
Not still, but I think you did. I think it was quite successful. I mean, it probably helped that I was sharing Deathloop as well, so, and you...
The algorithm.
Yeah, exactly. But I think Deathloop did okay, because that came out quite a while after release as well. And in a way, it possibly, because that type of audience for the gameplay, I don't think is a typical photo mode gameplay. Do you know what I mean? That sort of...
Yeah.
It's a slight competitive shooter element to it. First-person shooters aren't often very well associated with photo modes anyway, but that's just a thing. I think it's because you don't see the character. People engage more when they can see. They go, "Oh, look, I take a picture of my character." But yeah, I would say that Deathloop's photo mode was a successful addition. And actually, you know, you look on the Deathloop account. It's an @Deathloop, isn't it? They've got a game account.
Yeah.
And they share quite a bit of content from photo modes. So I think that shows that they did see the benefit of generation of content. And they ran a contest as well. So I think that was a good one.
To your question, I think if you do something like that, like a contest, what Insomniac and Santa Monica do, that, share this and share your favorites below, or share your photos below, we will reshare it. If you do that after adding something to your photo mode, that can work.
Yeah.
That will bring... The problem is most accounts only reshare photos that they see. They don't do anything with the photo mode itself. Like, they don't bring people... They don't engage with people. They just, this is a nice photo, retweet. This is a nice set, like. Let's drop a random comment. Instead of having, like, dedicated posts for the photo mode. Midnight Suns is a great example. I'm playing it, I'm engaging with their account, they barely mention the Photomode.
Yeah, I don't see. That's interesting, man. I don't see much from it, but it sounded like quite a good potential to it, to be honest. I suppose the reverse of that would be Season. So Season, a letter to the future. So you've seen that I've been sharing. It's not a photo mode as such, but it's an in-game camera, and you only get the little Polaroid snapshot thing, and it's tiny. So, but I thought, right, I'm gonna crop them out and place them on a neutral background and sharing them in sets, and they've engaged quite a lot with those. And I don't know what day it was because I didn't get the notification, but I happened to find it. They did one of those Twitter circle things, you know, with all of the people's profiles, and they shared some content creators, not just virtual photography, but YouTubers and bloggers and whatnot. And they said, here's a list of content creators who are doing great stuff with our game. Go follow them. And I thought that was quite a cool thing to see a studio doing. I've not seen that, I don't think, before. Yeah. Yeah. The other one I wanted to mention.
Should be running a story account.
You.
I would do stuff like that all the time.
Keep applying. I've not seen any vacancies recently, actually.
Yeah, me neither.
I always send them over. Yeah, the other one, when we were on about updating the photo mode, was Kenna, Bridge of Spirits, because that was a massive update.
And that one work. I engage very little with Kenna content. It's not the game for me. I don't know why it's not the game for me. But I keep seeing it. It keeps showing up on my feed. It keeps showing up on the threads that I ask people to send their pictures over. And I seen a spike after that photo mode update.
I think that's a good example of the update being big enough to draw the attention. Yeah. The game's already good, and the game, you know, you're saying about it being all about visual quality and fidelity. That's not photorealistic, but it is that kind of Pixar cinema CGI look. You know,
that's what I was going to tell you. Like Ratchet and Clank, it's like very DreamWorks, Pixar, cute, cartoon-like. Yeah, for sure.
But its big sort of lever in a way is that it added the lighting systems, and that is, you know, taking advantage of what people want in the photo modes right now, and still majority of the time don't get. So when a new one, say a new game comes out with studio lights, that alone draws attention. So to bring out an update that adds something big like that can draw the attention of people in the virtual photography community who maybe have, you know, large engagement with them, and that's what will start to perpetuate it, I guess. I don't know, but it's definitely worth doing. So let's just be clear, developers, it is worth.
Yeah,
it is worth updating.
I think it's worth even trying, but you have to know what to do with the content that is created, because most virtual photographers don't have hundreds of thousands of followers, so they need people to share their content, to engage with their content, and the ones with power to do that are the studios, are the accounts that have those numbers. So if a studio or a publisher releases a photo mode, releases an update to a photo mode, they can't just expect to be the next Horizon without doing the work. Part of the reason Horizon has this much engagement, it's not just how the game looks or how popular the game is because Guerrilla is constantly putting out themes, is constantly showing, spotlighting their virtual photographers, content creators on their spotlights. They do the work. And I get it. Most studios and social media accounts don't have the team that big studios have, the number of people that but it's easy to find content about your game.
I thought you were going to say.
If you look,
I thought you were going to say it's easy to find someone who'll do it, and then like,
oh,
employ me.
yeah, it's easy to find someone who do it. I'm Ruben. I've worked. Okay, I was thinking about doing a video application, but yeah, it's easy to find the content. Just search for the hashtag of your game. Do a Insomniac Games community hashtag kind of deal, like Deadloop Photo. Use the hashtag Deadloop Photo Mode, and we will look for your content. Something like that.
Yeah, it has got to be the full package of provide the tool, and then it's kind of like giving a reward for the engagement. Do you know what I mean? It's the people who go, oh, cool, Photomode, and then they share something from it, and they're encouraged to keep doing that if they feel that it's got the attention of the studio and the people who made the game and the Photomode. So
I don't like God of War that much. Like, I like God of War, but a big part of why I kept doing it is because Santa Monica kept engaging with me.
Yeah.
Like, I like the game, but I don't know if you notice, I have more photos of Spider-Man because it's Spider-Man to me.
I know you're a Spider-Man fan. Yeah, I don't know. You do like God of War 2018 a lot, though.
Yeah.
So
I have a tattoo of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't think I would have played the game 6 times if I hadn't like had the same number of engagement. Like I don't know. There are a game that I think I like as much as God of War 2018 is Red Dead Redemption 2. I would put them on the same level, but I don't share as many Red Dead Redemption because Rockstar never engaged with me.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and there's a bit more depth to it than just purely the interactions as well, because it's always been my approach anyway, is not to do with, I'm not here to win social media.
Yeah.
I'm here to gain kind of some standard and recognition within the industry, within the studios. So it does make a difference. It definitely does make a difference when, even if the pictures were sort of doing a lot in terms of numbers, if there was no interest from the studio or the publisher, yeah, I would easily just end up going somewhere else. To be honest, I'm just whatever's next, because I'm usually trying to write something about it.
That's one question that I was going to ask you at the beginning. Do you see yourself going back just to write the reviews? Would you, you go back to games because of the reviews? Do you see, like, if you didn't have to write the reviews, would you still go back to some games?
To some, okay. So now there's 2 sides again of that. I think everything we've said in this, there's 2 sides. There's 2 sides to this. I do go back to certain games in order to do a review, or maybe to cover an update, for example. And I do, obviously, that makes me go and capture content for it. So that's one reason to go and do it, is because I can create some blog content. So if there's an update, I can go in there, and that gets me back on that game. However, if I wasn't doing the reviews, I would then have more time to choose to play the games that I wanted. And then I would probably go back to other games and spend more time. Like Horizon Forbidden West, I've played it through once, and it was all for blog content, really. And then Gran Turismo came in. It just took over that. And I really do want to go back to Horizon, but I've not found the time. Because when I do find some time to do any virtual photography content, I'm doing it on other current stuff as well, and I don't get the time to go back to Horizon. But if I wasn't doing any written work, any blog stuff, I would have done. So sometimes it makes me go back, sometimes it stops me going back. They need an update to their photo mode,
thought-
and then I would go back.
Yeah, the DLC. You reminded me that the DLC is right. They said spring 2023.
April, isn't it?
We are. Is April? Oh, please don't be April.
Yeah, because that's
so many games to
Survivor,
play.
Jedi Survivor.
The Last of Us Part 1 on PC too. I have so many. I'm starting Zelda Breath of the Wild
Oh, why?
because I want to play the sequel. I want to play the sequel.
All right.
Uh,
You've got time,
so
though.
many games. But yeah, I wonder if they are updating their photo mode.
That, well, I don't know.
You wanted
I
to
really
have an
wouldn't-
update.
It could well do, because they've issued 2 updates to their photo mode already in Forbidden West, and they updated the one in Zero Dawn. Remember that the poses were not in Zero Dawn to start with. Neither was the look to camera. Yeah, they were new.
Ooh.
And Forbidden West got updated to increase the camera range. All right, only to 10
And the grain.
meters, but better than 5. And then they added the film grain. So that was a separate one, I think, wasn't it? That was in 2 separate.
Yeah,
ways.
it was separate.
So
I
they very
wonder-
well could
they
be.
they can do a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they are definitely adding face paints.
Oh, there'll be more face paint.
Yeah.
But
so-
imagine if now then that DLC is PS5 only.
Yeah.
So we could, because the PS5 version has got the hero light, and you don't have control of it in the photo mode, but it is there in the photo mode. It isn't there on PS4 at all. Now then, the fact that this DLC is PS5 only could possibly open the door to adding a PS5 only feature set for the photo mode. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not, because it would still have to be applied to the rest of the game, I guess. But you can see what I mean is that there's possible divergence in the 2 packages there.
Even if it's still light, similar to Gotham Knights and Kana.
Yeah, absolutely. That's basically what's there.
Yeah.
But you've got no control over it.
A nice one would be like, my thought was it's PS5 only, and they said some of the boss fights that they are doing couldn't be done on PS4 because of the SSD. So that got me thinking about the SSD. What can be loaded faster on photo mode? Armors. Change the armor in photo mode.
I don't need that take that long anyway, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, Spider-Man does it on
but
all versions.
I don't know. Any excuse to have armor change on that game would be nice.
Yeah, I hope we see any update. To be honest, I just like, even with Sonic, I don't care about Sonic. I was only half joking when my post started with everyone wanted to shoot Sonic. Yeah, me too, because I don't like him. But regardless of whether I like that game or not, I very much like seeing it get a photo mode.
Yeah.
So.
And if I'm not mistaken, it's a first for Sega.
Oh, maybe. Well, they make mostly Sonic games anyway. Could be, yeah, actually.
Yeah, it's really cool too, and it's a Japanese developer.
Yeah.
Like, I'm loving that. I'm loving seeing Capcom doing it. I'm loving Sega doing it. Please, if anyone at Square Enix is seeing this, Final Fantasy 16 with a good photo mode. A decent one. I don't need a good one. I need a decent one.
Yeah. Just a competent one.
Yeah.
With freedom.
Without the watermark.
Yes. That must be a Japanese law
Just-
thing. But anyway.
Just apply the one from Forspoken. I'm cool with that. I'm more than cool with that. Yeah.
So there you go.
Any last comments?
I don't know. Have you?
Do you have a joke?
I can do. I missed the opportunity. I was going to slide it in when we were on the Horizon conversation moment, but I missed it because I was going to do something about because it's called Burning Shores, is it?
Yeah.
So what did the sea say to the beach? Nothing. It just waved.
I like that one. I like that. Okay, with finally a good joke, we will end for this week. Please tell us any game that we missed that had added photo mode, and follow us on social media at PM Unplug.